There's been a wave of resignations in Rivers State as 3 more commissioners have now resigned from the cabinet of Governor Simina Lai Fubara, and the 3 latest resignations include Commissioner for Education, that's Professor Chinedu Unom. There is the Commissioner for Housing, Gift Wolu, as well as Commissioner for Transport, Jacobson Nona. Commissioner for Works, George Kelly Alabo. For Finance, well, these are the ones who resigned earlier. Then Isaac Kamalu, Social Welfare, Inime Aguma. The Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Professor Zacchaeus Adango, had all resigned from the governor's cabinet earlier in the week. Meanwhile, a lawmaker representing Ahwada East, Abua Odua Federal Constituency of Rivers State, Solomon Bob, has described the governor's action in the demolition of the State House of Assembly as unthinkable and unjustifiable.
It's unacceptable and it's totally inexplicable why we got to that level. So I call on the governor to pull back and retrace his steps. Governance is about temptation. Governance is about provocation. If whatever it is that has led to the points of taking the actions he has taken, he cannot justify those actions. And no sensible human being can justify or rationalize the action of going to pull down an entire branch of government.
But it's business as usual for Governor Fubara, who has continued with governance as he flags off the construction of 20,000 housing units in Ikwere local government area of Rivers State. He assured the low-income earners in the state of positive impact of his administration. Uche Okoro has more.
Despite the political tension in the last few weeks in Rivers State, Governor Simina Lai Fubara believes governance must go on. He says nothing will distract him from bringing governance closer to the man on the street, especially the market women and others who are struggling to make ends meet. This housing project, he says, will be a major step towards solving the accommodation challenge for this category of people.
Our governance is to take care and defend our people. I can assure you here that this is the beginning of our service to the people of Rivers State. It is not service to big men like me. It is service to the people, those poor people, those low-income earners. That is the people we want to stand with, and we are standing with them from today. I want to also say it here. Let it also be my own commitment. This facility, once it commences and gets to the stage of allotment, it will go to those rightful people, and not one big man to allocate to his own family.
The Rivers State government is currently navigating through the stormy waters of politics, but the governor says there is no cause for alarm.
I want to assure you, our governance has nothing to do with fighting anybody. Our governance is to take care and defend our people. I can assure you here that this is the beginning of our service to the people of Rivers State.
The government also says the 20,000 housing units project will prove Rivers State as a safe haven for investment. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Port Harcourt.
Joining us now via Zoom is Principal Partner of Africa Data Warehouse, Bayo Adedosu. Thank you very much for joining us on TVC Breakfast Saturday. And a lot has happened so far as we have been monitoring. It doesn't appear that the last has occurred. But share with us your thoughts on, first of all, the gale of resignations that we have seen so far. Eminent personalities commissioners from the cabinet of Governor Fubara have, sent in their letters resigning from their duties.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kemi, for having me this morning. The situation in Rivers State is very unfortunate, and a lot of the happenings are very undemocratic. Personally, I don't have issue with people resigning. When people fall apart, when they don't share your vision, when they are not in line with your aspirations, of course, the best thing to do is to quit. So it's good that people who think they cannot work with the governor are resigning. And what we should actually look at is the reasons behind these resignations. Now the governor can say those who have resigned were foisted on him, they were never his choices. So now let him appoint those he thinks will be able to work with him, are going to be loyal to him. The resignation is an aftermath of an event. It is the event that we should actually take a look at. Going back in history, this started in Ekiti State. This undemocratic misconduct, misbehavior started with Fayose. When Fayose took the budget to the House and unilaterally, he passed the budget himself, asking the people with the mace in hand, do you want this to be passed speedily? Say yes. If you support, say yes. Boom, passed. That was the first undemocratic behavior that nobody took action on or bothered to find a way to tackle with the law. Then Obaseki in Edo State did a similar thing, ran the government of Edo State with just a handful of people that did not constitute a quorum. That is the undemocratic behavior. That is the beginning of this crisis. Honestly speaking, I'm not so bothered about what's happening between Wike and the governor himself. Two people fall apart. One thing I've been trying to impress on people, the governor should respect Wike. It was Wike that brought him into governance. Somebody will always be your destiny helper. Whether you merited it or not, somebody will always put you forward to say, okay, I want you to do this for whatever reason. And we know that the game of politics is a game of alignment and realignment. So whatever has transpired between them should not lead to illegalities being the order of the day. We have a lot of illegalities right now, and with the defections as well. When the 27 legislators, House of Assembly members, defected from the governor's party, PDP, to APC, and the governor went ahead to present the budget to 22 or 5 people, a group of 5 lawmakers. Where is that done? Now, my question is, what does the law say about the behavior of the governor with regards to budget presentation? Are we saying the budget that was presented and enacted into law within 24 hours is legal? This is where we need to take a look at our democracy. This is where we need to look at our laws. And honestly, I believe the so-called immunity that governors enjoy while in power should be revisited once they are out of governance, because some actions have been taken, like the demolition of the House of Assembly. That is totally out of order and an extreme action. You cannot attack another arm of government. There is what we call separation of powers. The executive action taken by the executive governor is at variance with what the law says about the separation of power. It's just like the governor going out to pull down the judiciary, to pull down the high court. It is totally out of place, it is totally out of order, and we should not find any reason to justify it. This is the time for our legislators, for our lawmakers, to find a way to make laws. Because one thing we are doing in Nigeria conveniently that everybody is trying to justify, we are creating strong men. We are not creating strong institutions. No country develops by having strong men and not strong institutions. Countries are built on strong institutions, not on strong men. Right. Everybody, every citizen must be accountable to the law.
Just a moment, Mr. Adedosu. The resignation of these commissioners, do you see this as a right step in the right direction for the government of Rivers State at the moment, or do you see the matter getting worse?
It's counterproductive. Like I said earlier, that was my opening line. The resignation is a personal thing. If they think they cannot work with the governor anymore, they are loyal to a different entity, it's so good for them to go. They won't serve as internal distraction to the governor. The governor can now come out and say, those who are distractions within his government, they have left. He's going to appoint people that he believes can work with him. But the problem itself that has led to this gale of resignations is what we need to take a look at, and the attendant impact and aftermath. The aftermath of this does not bode well for the people of Rivers State. It's just a case of two elephants fighting. The grass will bear the brunt. The people of Rivers State will bear the brunt. Let's ask a question. Who is going to pay for the reconstruction of the demolished House of Assembly?
Can you tell Nigerians what exactly is the problem in that particular state?
Honestly, we are hearing conflicting issues, but it comes down to one thing. Problem between father and son. And when you cannot come together to agree to disagree, it's a huge flaw, it's a huge issue. Now, we've had the governor on one side accusing Wike of taking money from the government, even after he has left the government, that the Wike still wanted to be controlling the purse, the earnings of the state. Wike himself needs to come out and clear himself wholeheartedly. One thing that is very striking for me is the fact that the political class lack the fear of God, and they lack respect for the electorate. For as long as power is taken away from the electorate, for as long as the electorate, the political class is not accountable to the electorate, this is the kind of underdevelopment on democratic behaviors we'll begin to see. If this were the case, many people have been, many senior, let me use that word, senior godfathers have been betrayed. But they did not come out like this to strike. They did not come out like this to destroy their own state. Why do we think the best way to address a problem is to create a greater problem? And we'll now say we have a state. If the governor, as it were now, does not agree with some things his predecessor had done, the fact that the predecessor is his godfather does not mean he cannot disagree with him. This is governance. Everybody has their tenure. At the end of the day, the buck stops at the table of the governor. He will be accountable for everything. And we are making governance. This is what I said to people. We need to take a step back and look at this situation dispassionately. Looking at it dispassionately simply means how democratic is what is going on. What are the dangers? What are the attendant outcomes? And how will it affect the people of the state? The political class, they have a way of coming together. They are one, they are bonded together with different interests. It's a case of interest not aligning at the time. The interest will come back to align, but the people would have suffered the consequences.
And how do you see an end? How do you see an end to this this episode of wranglings? How do you see an end to it? Some have called for intervention by the National Assembly. Some are also looking towards the direction of the president. Do you see any reprieve coming from any of those quarters or elsewhere?
There are two ways to this issue. One, executive intervention at the federal level. Sincerely speaking, I want the president to come in as the father to every one of us and pull the warring factions in, have a closed-door meeting with Wike and Fubara, just the two of them alone, and trash these issues out. That is on one hand. Then, we need to go back to the National Assembly with the right laws, checking some actions so that when you leave office, you will know that you will still account for some of your actions. You know, they'll say, whatever you say at on the floor of the National Assembly, you are not accountable even after you leave office, because you are protected for your act or during your official actions in the chambers, within the chambers of the National Assembly, but not outside the chambers of the National Assembly. So you have parliamentary immunity, not as a legislator, but parliamentary immunity while conducting the affairs as a parliamentarian. And the governor has immunity as a governor while he's governor. But we need to take a step back, review this immunity. It should not be blanket immunity. Immunity should not constitute illegality, because the way immunity is being applied in Nigeria today, it comes with a lot of illegalities. And that is one area that our National Assembly members need to take a look at and let you be accountable for actions that are deemed illegal, undemocratic while in government. That is the area where the National Assembly can come in. But when we're talking about resolving the issues, this has to be the president taking the lead. Wike presently is the minister under the president. So the president has a duty to call him, and at the same time, the governor is a member of the larger community of governance in Nigeria. So the president also has a responsibility there to talk to him and bring the two of them together. I'm more concerned about the democracy. I'm more concerned about the people of Rivers State, not about the gladiators. The gladiators are very unruly, as it were, right now, with no respect for our democratic culture and principles. So I will not dwell on these two characters, the governor and Wike. I am more concerned about, are we growing our democracy? Are we respecting the electorate? Are we actually delivering the dividends of democracy to the Nigerian people? Enough is enough. All these wranglings, all these bickerings that are not bringing development with the kind of income, revenue available to the government of Rivers State. Rivers State should be competing effectively with Lagos State. But every now and then, there's always something. Something is not always right. Why is it that the oil-producing communities, is it because they have so much money, that is why they are so restive? That is why they always have issues that they cannot manage? The law has to take its course. We need to build institutions, once again, and not strongmen. Strongmen destroy.
Well, coming in from the angle that you're saying that it's easy for the Rivers people to enjoy the dividends of democracy, but what exactly is wrong with system of governance in Nigeria where it is easy for politicians to manipulate the system? What we have in Rivers at the moment is a case of 4 is greater than 27. What do you make of this development?
Well, it's very simple. It's the same thing about having strong men and not strong institutions. Corruption. Corruption is too endemic in our political culture. And why is it so? Because it is a case of he who pays the piper dictating the tune. Yorubas have a saying that when you give a child a goat, you give him completely, even with the rope, to take home. But in Nigeria, when you are given a goat, the person who's presenting the gift to you still holds on to the rope, simply meaning he can retrieve it from you. When you give somebody something, you should know that you have transferred complete ownership to that person. But that is not the case in our democracy, with our political structure. It is a case of corruption, deep corruption, and people not having ideology. Our politics is devoid of ideology, is devoid of principle. Until we have men with ideologies and principle, our democracy will continue to flounder the way it is floundering. Something happened yesterday in a group I belong to. There was something that was posted, and I came out to speak. And because I came out to speak, people were just like, oh, wow, he's speaking against the people who are the leadership of this group. But hey, the man dies a name that keeps silent in the face of tyrant, just like Wole Soyinka said. Must we keep quiet because it's a case of everybody trying to secure the bag? Everybody's trying to hold on to what they are able to get. For as long as people see politics, governance as a way of life or as an investment or even as a career, this is what we'll continue to get. These are people that the moment they step out of government, out of governance, they are nobodies. They cannot even find their footing. We need to make politics and governance less attractive. But everybody wants to go in there because it is a sure bet for them. But within the years they are in government, they are made and they become the lords. For as long as we allow the political class to roughshod or to railroad the electorate, take power away from the electorate themselves need to rise above sentiment, they need to rise above political considerations. Our first allegiance should be to the state, that is the country. For as long as our allegiances are tied to political consideration or to our pocket, then we are not ready to move our democracy forward. Then we are not ready to build the right culture. We are not ready to build institutions that will outlive political figures. That is where the problem is. Countries that are developed today is because they built institutions with repercussions. But we are building strong men who are themselves the repercussion.
But what is even the fate? What's the fate of, this, is it 25 or 27, members of the House of Assembly now? What is the fate? Already, to, build on the point you made earlier, we are already seeing groups expressing levels of support for the two protagonists in this drama, the governor and his predecessor. But, when we look at the legislature as it currently stands in Rivers State, what are your thoughts really on the legality or otherwise of, the actions of these lawmakers?
It's very clear. 4 or 5 is never greater than 27. This is what happened under Obasanjo. Obasanjo started this madness when some governors were impeached by 6 to 19 legislators. It happened in Oyo State. It happened in some Southeast states as well. And everybody just looked away. For as long as we do not approach the judiciary to interpret these laws, but we allow people to be muscled to take actions, the action of the governor presenting the budget to a group of 5 legislators is grossly illegal and does not stand on any legal leg. And I'm even more surprised that somebody like Femi Falana, a senior advocate of Nigeria, could focus more on the defectors than the 5 who are who are purportedly the recognized House of Assembly members in a state where they have 32 lawmakers. 5 can never be greater than 27. This is where I said there is a need for executive action intervention at the federal level. The president needs to wade into this, because when the real fracas starts, it's going to consume everybody. And when I say everybody, not just Rivers State, these are little actions that will now become entrenched, not legally, but entrenched in the mindset of the political class, that they can do some things and get away with it without any consequence.
Okay, but allow me to interrupt, because, some schools of thought, we've got so many divergent reactions on this issue. So if the majority knew that they have the power in their numbers, then was it a politically wise decision for them to have defected? And of course, the courts are clear. The courts have expressed, clarity on this issue. Once you defect, you automatically lose your seat. So I guess that may have been the standpoint.
No, don't let us look at it that way. That is not true.
Carry on, please.
That is not true.
Carry on, please.
That is not true. Please, when we're talking about the moment you defect, people have been defecting. How has anybody lost his or her seat at any given time?
But the courts have spoken. The courts have spoken on the issue. The Constitution is also clear on the breach of. Okay. Hold on then. On the issue of division now. So these 27 people are talking about division in their parties, in the PDP. Okay. But then the argument is being made that is it division at the state level or at the national level that will guarantee them, this right to defect to another party. That is also a debate.
But when we are talking about division, your first membership of a political party is at what level? Then local government level, then state level. Federal, what you are saying at the federal, is it at the central, at the federal level? That is just for leadership of the party at the national level. But your membership of a political party is actually from your state, from your ward. So if the legislators, as they claim that they have issues, there is division within the party, it doesn't have to be at the federal level. It doesn't have to be within the central authority. It has to be from their state, because their defection will take effect from their wards to another party. They are resigning their membership from the ward level, because that is where your membership starts, to go to another party and register at the ward level of another political party. So the law now is, are they justified in defecting?
All right.
Is there truly division within the party for them to actually take this line of action? That is why I said our laws need to be strengthened. People have defected even at the federal level. House of Representatives, Senate, nothing has happened. Why is this one peculiar? Why is this one different? That is where we need to build the laws. And
before we let you go this morning, it's been a dramatic week in Rivers State, from the demolition of the State House of Assembly to the presentation of budget and the passage of that particular 800 billion naira budget to just 4 members, and also the wave of resignation in the state. What next? Are we going to see more surprises in the next week?
Nothing surprises me within the political culture of Nigeria today. What I always say is, expect the unexpected. Nigerian political terrain is full of drama. And until we are able to stem the tide, that Nigerians themselves are able to say enough is enough. But in a culture where our politics is built around money, not around principle and ideology, we will not have men of sound intellect coming out. Because men of sound intellect don't have the financial muscle to actually get into the ring and do something. Let us look at Benue State today. Father Alia is doing a wonderful job quietly. We've not had issue that he's not able to do things because of headsmen or anything. Nobody is hearing any negative things from Benue State. Why? That is the quality. That is when you find people with quality, people with integrity, people who believe they have dignity, something to protect. But when it is business as usual, that it is turn by turn, this is what you see. My fear is this is not going to be replicated in other states. That some other states are not going to piggyback on this and begin to see this kind of issues. We need to actually drive the narrative to build on our institutions and focus less on the political class that are destroying these institutions.
All right, Adebayo, Adedo, so that will be a fine place to rest our discussions on this matter, at least for now. We hope we can bring you some other time to further assess the situation in Rivers State. In the meantime, we say a big thank you to you once again, Mr. Adedo, Principal Partner, Africa Data Warehouse. Many thanks.
Thank you very much for bringing me. I'm always at your beck and call anytime for the good of Nigeria, and Nigeria succeed. Thank you very much.
We appreciate indeed.